Welcome back. My name's Guy, and right now I'm in the middle of building a curved front end table. And if you didn't see the last show, I built the carcass. It came out really nice. I'll leave a card for it in the corner so you can take a look at that. This time I'm going to show you how I built this. And what this is going to be the door. Actually be split down the middle later. But this is the door that's going to be in the front of the piece. It's a bent lamination, it's curved, and I used some really nice quilted cherry veneer on the front. Let me show you how I made this. Well, I'm going to start the whole process by taking this piece of wood. It's cherry. It's about 7/8 of an inch thick, 20 inches long, 7 3/4 inches wide. I need to take this and resaw it, and I need to get some veneers that are about 1/32 of an inch thick, and I need 8 of them. What that's going to be is that's going to be part of the plies that go into the sandwich that I make to create the bent doors. But first I need to resaw these veneers and get them down to thickness. So what I've got now is I've got 8 pieces that are a little bit better than 1/32 of an inch thick. I'm just going to put them through my drum sander. I've got some 100 grit paper. It should only take about 4 or 5 passes, and I'll get these down to that 1/32 of an inch. So I've got all the pieces put through the drum sander, and they're a little bit better than 1/32 of an inch thick. 4 of these add up to 5/32, almost 5/32. So that's about where I want it. 1/8 of an inch, give or take. The doors are going to be 1/2 inch thick when they're done. So now I need to complete the bending form. Well, this is the bending form that I made for the doors. All it is 3/4 inch MDF. Sized correctly. It's curved to the same template that I used to cut the top and bottom rails on the piece. And this is some 1/8 inch bendable ply. Some people call it wiggle wood. You can call it whatever you want to. It's just a real nice flexible plywood. And I'm going to glue this over the top of that and then put it in my vacuum bag. So I just need to put some glue on here real quick. Now I've got that glue spread out, I'm going to put this on here and just kind of eyeball it. It doesn't need to be perfect. I should mention that it doesn't go all the way to the edges. There's a little bit of a gap there so the air can escape from inside this form and won't collapse it. So now I've got that in place. And take some tape. Just going to help prevent that from sliding around. Now that I've got that loosely taped on here, I can take it over to my vacuum bag, which I've already got set up. Okay, well I've got some of this veneer laid out, and the top and bottom layer are going to get the full treatment of veneer tape, so I just need to start doing that. Now these are going to go in the middle, but I still have to seam them. I don't want to put a lot of tape on. This stuff is pretty thin, but I don't want it to telegraph through. So I'm just going to put a couple pieces. Well, here's a moment of truth. I'm going to do this. I only want to apply glue, and this is a urea resin glue. I only want to apply it to the plywood. So once I cover this surface, I'm going to flip it over on top of this piece. This grain is going this way. This is going to go that way. And I just need to keep building it up until I get all the pieces on here. So I hope I mixed up enough glue. We'll find out shortly. Now that I've got that on there, move this out of the way. I'll bring this over. I'm going to flip this around and put it on top of here. I just need to add another layer of glue to this, and then put another piece of veneer on. After I've got all these pieces put together, just need to put some tape on there, hopefully hold these together a little bit. They don't slip around. That came out alright. I think I'm good. I just need to go over the vacuum press. I've got it on the form here. I just need to put it in the bag. All this seems so easy when I watch other people do it. Got that on there. Well, it seems to be holding pretty good at about 21, 22 inches of mercury. Needle's not moving, so that's good. It's only about 55 degrees in my shop here. This needs 70 degrees to cure properly. So I'm going to put an electric blanket around it. And I'm going to let that sit in the clamp, well, pretty much overnight, minimum 12 hours. Well, it's the next morning. I've disconnected the hose. I'm just taking the bag apart. And I'm going to see how this all came out. Well, this is really the moment of truth. I've got one of the lower rails here, and I just want to match up the center line, put it on there, and that's what I want. I want a nice flush edge all the way across the bottom, which I have. So again, this was a success. I feel pretty good about this. I've got my veneer laid out that's going to be on the front panels and also the drawers. Got a clamp down, I've got a backer board underneath, and I've marked a line where I need to cut this, and that's about 24 inches. So I've got several layers to cut through here. Just going to press this down and use this as a straight edge with a nice sharp veneer knife, or veneer saw I should say. Just score this. I just need to keep going until I cut through the layers. I've got these cut through. I've got a nice clean cut. I'm just going to set those aside, the rest of it aside. And here's what I'm left with. Now after I take this out of the clamp, I need to start flattening this, and I'm going to go into that process next. I'm getting ready to flatten the veneer now, and I've numbered all the sheets 1 through 4. I've also got some veneer softener, and I put that in a container, and I've got a brush. What I first want to do is lay out some absorbent paper, just shop towel. I'll take this, I'm just going to wet this surface. After I've got both sides covered, I'll take another sheet, put that on top of there. And I'm just going to continue to do the same thing to the next 3 pieces. Well, after I've got all the surfaces wet and covered with some, again, these shop towels, I'm going to put a piece of MDF over this. I want to weight it down, and the most convenient thing I have for weight is a case of water. So I'm going to let this sit overnight. Tomorrow morning before work, I'll come out here and change the paper towels out and do it when I come home from work, and hopefully in a day or 2 this will all be dry and it'll be ready to go. Well, the veneer is nice and dry, it's nice and flat, and what I need to do is I've made one straight edge here, I've made one cross cut here. These need to be 15 inches, and that's going to give me a little bit more than what I need. So I'm just going to mark 15 inches. I'm going to use my square here and use this as a straight edge. Bring it up to that point. Then I can take my veneer saw and I can cross cut this. Alright, after I've got that cross cut, I need to set these pieces aside because these are going to be important later on when I do the tops and also the drawer fronts and the tops of the drawer fronts. Now I know that these are going to have to be 10 inches wide. So I'll do the same thing I did before. Square this up until it's about right on my little mark there. I can take my veneer saw and I can cut these to length or width. Again, I want to set these aside also, keeping them in the same orientation. I've got the 4 pieces of veneer cut. They're 10 by 15, and what I'm going to do first is I'm going to take pieces 1 and 2. This will be the front of the doors. This will be the back of the doors. So actually I'm just going to flip this like this. And this is going to be the seam in the front. I'll take some veneer tape, seam these in front. After this is all said and done, I've got it all glued, the veneer all glued to the door panels. They'll actually be cut down the middle, and some of the sapwood here will be taken off the edge. There'll still be a little bit left, but that's okay. I'm good with that. So first things first, I need to seam these together. Well, that's the front. I'm going to let this dry, and then I'm going to do the back, and then we'll get to putting it in the bag and getting that glued up. Well, I don't have a whole lot of experience doing this, so this seems the most logical way is to put the curved piece or the concave side up and do that first. You need to spread the glue. And from what I've read and what I've seen, this should be about the thickness of a latex paint on this panel. And that seems about right. So I'm going to take this piece here and put it on here. I'm going to line up the sides, and I want to bring it up about almost 1/8 of an inch off the bottom. Make sure my centers are lined up. Press it into place. Flip it over. Now that I've got that flipped over, I can do the same to the other side here. Now that I've got that spread out, see a little spot here I missed. I need to do the same thing with this panel, again lining up the centers, keeping about 1/8 of an inch off the bottom. Alright, that seems to be on there pretty good, so I'm just going to put this in the vac bag and we'll draw the air out. I read the instructions and it actually said 45 minutes minimum to an hour maximum, so it's been about an hour. I want to give the most time I could in there. So I'm just getting ready to take this out of the bag now and we'll see how it turned out. So it's out of the form now, and it came out real nice. It looks really pretty. Instructions also say wait about 3 or 4 hours for this to cure, which I'm going to do. I'm just going to let this sit and really not mess with it at all until that 3 or 4 hours is up. Well, I couldn't be happier on how this panel came out. Again, no spring back, which is exactly what I was looking for. And this is going to give me the final curve and dimensions that I need to start working on the internals, which I'm going to do next time. So if you have any questions or comments, please leave them in the section below. And as always, if you haven't yet, please subscribe. It means a lot to me if you do. And as always, thanks for watching. We'll see you later.